Willy, Chili, Willy, Willy,
Chili,
Willy,
chili,
Willy,
chili, 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 chili.
Let's talk about being a pro. And not necessarily just a professional athlete, but a professional in business, parenting. How about just being a really good friend? You know, there's novice friends that are trying. There's intermediate, that are actually like a positive role in your life. And then there's expert level friends that just never fail to miss a beat. And then there's those pros, those friends that get in your face and confront you for doing something stupid, right? That's that upper tier level of human, to do that for someone else, to kindly confront them or, bring to light or surface an issue with kindness and love. That's that pro level. Now let's go ahead and go back to being a professional athlete. That level, it's a flow state. You're working the whole time. It's not just showing up for practice and watching your diet and your consumption or stretching or sleep. It's every part of tuning the best version of you, your attitude, how you display yourself in public, on camera. And when do you know that you're being recorded, by the way? Like nowadays, people have cell phones out all the time. So your pro moment or not so pro moment could be being recorded in a nice 4K resolution at 30 frames per second, and you don't even know what's going on. Being a pro, it ain't easy. That high level of operation, awareness, and an acute accuracy of decision making. Look at moms, single moms, dads, single dads, foster parents. They're up there. They are trying to sculpt little humans into something bigger and special and more effective, and also trying to keep it fun and loving as well. It can't just be this rough ride of discipline and criticism all the time. There's got to be some finesse in there. And I definitely like to reference back, to the gift that a lot of professional athletes have, because the ones that are really, really good, that are at the top, they're making it all look good. They're managing stress, anxiety, frustration, insecurities, self-esteem, challenges that we may sit back and only tear apart and criticize from the other side of the TV screen, but they're the ones that are on it. They're up there, getting harassed or praised. And that is a daily thing for a professional. So think about how strong that mental game really has to be. You got to shake off, but also absorb, but also implement and process and not get overwhelmed, and then still bring it all together on game day. That's a lot going on. That's unique. And I believe that's why they deserve to get paid so much money, and at the end of the day, it's the fans that pay that money out. So you can only poke at it, from a distance, because we love professionals, and the professional way, it is a constant. It's infectious. It is a goal that so many people share in common, to get to that high level of whatever. Some of my favorite examples are like the Japanese culture. Devotion and perfection in anything and everything that is done, from the early days of, like blacksmith sword making to just the grooming of the landscape in the Japanese country, just the way that plants are taken care of and respected, but also used for shelter and construction. The creation of silk and those garments, the colors and dyes and the technique from in which they're crafted. Such a beautiful profession of culture, and while we're on that subject, it blends with adversity and working through that. Look at some of the top athletes in the world. The majority of them come from super ghetto, broken neighborhoods, either with parents or parents that were struggling with drug usage and drug abuse. It's not like the majority of these pros have been living, the life that they live now at their peak, the entire time. They a lot of time went from being completely broke and desperate to all of a sudden picking out what color Lamborghini they want. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the American dream. I love it. I support it endlessly. Get some for yourself, for your friends, for family, and those who supported you that aren't family or weren't really a friend in the beginning. Maybe someone that got you to that level of getting out of that sticky situation or that bunk neighborhood that was probably going to get you killed and cost you your life. Maybe it was just someone who offered some advice, a boxing coach that said, hey, get off the street, come in here, let me teach you something. Some of my top favorites, look at the story of Gervonta Tank Davis, an incredible athlete, absolutely on his way to greatness. And he has worked through adversity and challenges to a point where we're still understanding his true path and timeline. Like, it is in the making. If you look back at Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather Jr., talk about adversity and getting shot down, even though it was obvious that a lot of his wins were debatably taken from him in the early days of him in the ring. I mean, come on. He didn't back off. He didn't slow down. He pushed even harder. And if you want to talk boxing and you have some hate for Pretty Boy Floyd, man, I will keep you up all night and argue till you sign out, because I'm telling you something, that is an amazing human being. And no one who truly knows boxing can punch a hole in what he went through. You look at the pioneers of different sports, what Larry Bird did for basketball, what Michael Jordan did for basketball during those times. Hello. I mean, these are professionals that paved the way for the pros that we have today. LeBron, man, what's up, King James? I love watching you on the court, but I know your path wasn't easy either, And it's not just sports, you guys. I love sports, and I am kind of going off a little bit on, the whole boxing and basketball thing, but I'm very passionate about those two sports. But it trickles into anything. Let's talk automotive. Look at the story of Ayrton Senna and what he did with driving. Ayrton grew up in Brazil, and though he had a lot of opportunity from a very creative and inspired father to drive him, no pun intended there, but to get him into a homemade go-kart on the rainy days in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I mean, what dad puts their kid on a little janky go-kart on some steep neighborhood hills with potholes and no sidewalks when it's raining to just go drive and have fun? He was teaching them something. And what kind of person would embrace that and then master the art of driving in the wet? Senna did. He worked through that. When other kids his age didn't even want to come outside because it was raining, he was out there working. He was working. He was learning. He was sliding that go-kart around, crashing it, almost crashing it, and then fixing it. He had to repair it. His dad didn't just fix it every time he banged it up. He learned to wrench from his father as well, you know? It wasn't just a gift and a toy. It was a gift that required maintenance and work. And he became, in my opinion, the best driver in the world. He showed us the miracle of driving, and driving at a top level when Formula One cars were pretty much a bomb on wheels, the most dangerous projectiles out there. Ayrton mastered it. But the most professional part about all of it was Ayrton was a giver. Not only did he share at an irrevocable level, he started a school for the underprivileged and or just straight up poor kids living in Brazil. There was no, if they needed clothes, clothes were provided. Food provided. You know, establishing a status of mental health for the youth, he laid the groundwork for that in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And Ayrton's school is something that it will affect so many lives for so many years to come. And that came from a professional man, an angel, someone who pushed for excellence and did not back off as challenges and difficulties showed up at his door. You know, he showed up in a suit to fix those problems. He maintained integrity and honor, and now you have one of the most amazing and beautiful stories ever of a human life. I encourage all of you to watch the movie Senna, look into the story of Senna. Ayrton's life is definitely something special. You know, watch the documentary on how the video game Gran Turismo was created by Kaz. Kazunori was a huge fan of Senna throughout his young years of working for Sony Entertainment. And talk about a professional and achieving excellence. Kaz, the designer of that video game, Gran Turismo, he got shot down when he presented that game. He got shot down by Sony Entertainment, and they basically said, "We're not interested. We're only doing fighting games. Go pound sand." He stayed humble. Kaz stayed humble and true to his design and his creation, and followed through with creating one of the best driving simulators, probably the best driving simulator we will ever have because of the history behind it and what it's done for us. And the enthusiasts of, you know, of driving and both driving in video game format. And he did not have an easy path to get there. But he never created friction. He only flowed like water. As another one of my favorite professionals would say, Bruce Lee, be like water, my friend. And there you go. You know, you have these collaborations of professionals over the decades that have just laid out so much information for us, and it's up to us to share it with each other so that we can learn and push each other through our own struggles and adversity, you know. And there's no culture from in which true professionalism cannot derive from, you know. If it's people are capable. And I've said this before, I have said it in other videos, I will say it again. If you let people, they will surprise you. You just have to let them, you know, which means maybe putting aside your own insecurities and doubts and fears, and give the benefit of the doubt, you know. And it's okay to, you know, to be fooled once, shame on you. To be fooled twice, shame on me. You know, you can bury the hatchet and leave the handle sticking up, but you got to give people a chance, you know. One of my favorite things is to also look at how professional animals can be. You know, what's the first thing that your dog or your cat does when they wake up from either a deep sleep or a nap? What's the first thing they do? They stretch. Do you stretch when you first wake up? Now, you probably grab your cell phone, check Instagram or TikTok, and sit there and thrash your brain for 15 minutes before you even get up to wipe the crust out of your eyes, you know? You gotta stretch, drink some water. You The phone's not going anywhere, but your health is. Your body will die for you. You need to become a professional at taking care of yourself, and embrace all those new struggles, that new pop in your ankle when you're going up or down the stairs, or the new position that you're kind of having to put yourself in when you drive the car because all of a sudden that left butt cheek's been going numb or whatever. Your body changes over time and stress and the holiday season, whatever, all the above. But the point is, the basics come from just nature. Look at how trees will grow through and around concrete and building structures, or how grass will continue to sprout in areas where you have no interest in it actually being there, but it's a perseverance thing. It's a path, and everything has some type of direction that it's going to lean into. And if you lean into the direction of becoming a pro at whatever you desire becoming a pro at, just know that you're probably going to have to do the same thing over and over again, and more than likely you're going to get a different result because you're learning, and if you get the same result every time you try to do the same thing, you can't expect anything different to change. That would also classify as insanity. You have to make adjustments along the way. You have to fine tune and be aware and compromise. There's another video called Stem and Flower, and I talk about the relationship balance of what's common out there, and someone's got to be the stem and someone's got to be the flower, and those days can flip. Like, if today you're the stem in the relationship and your partner's the flower, you got to hold them up, keep them in bloom, bring them to the sun and recharge them. And when they've had enough or they're overwhelmed, you got to let them rest and come back down from whatever it is that flower could be experiencing. Maybe it's overwhelmed, or it's just been, too much exposure. So, and know that is, just one side of the coin. There's a day where maybe it's your turn to be the flower, and you need your partner to be the stem and support you and just be there unconditionally, whether it's, rain or shine. It's a commitment, it's a job, and it only works if everyone's on the same page and a team. So yeah, pro, it ain't easy. And if there's any examples out there from which you guys have been inspired of achieving greatness, or simply working off a debt, that's not easy either. That's being a professional with finances, and making those callbacks, or responding to that mail, or just, owning it. I've been there. I've had cars repoed, and I've also recently purchased one of my dream cars. So it took me years to build my credit back up, and to also have faith that I could do it. I was also beat down for a time frame in between where I didn't think I'd ever have a nice car again. But, you keep your head straight, stay positive, believe in yourself, regardless of what other people say to you or how they make you feel. Keep your eye on the prize, and, just get back in the game, get off the bench, and always reach. The only thing stopping you is you. The only thing stopping you is you. And share that energy, and build this atmosphere of success around you. And, if you find yourself, what's referred to as like an introvert, it's tough to socialize or be placed into socially vulnerable situations. You can express energy without talking. You can express vibes, without really using your body language. You can talk with your eyes. You can be present and, kind of exuberate a light and let people see who you are just by your fashion sense or your presentation of yourself. If you're not happy with how you look, get control of that diet. If there's some issues there, talk to a doctor. There's amazing professionals in the medical field that can help you to lose that weight, tone up, Or, if it's as simple as a new haircut or hairstyle, stop getting the normal buzz or trim or fade and let a professional hairstylist get a hold of you and rock your world. You might feel awkward, but you'll get over it. I promise. Speaking from experience. All right, my friends. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hope this was a fun message for you guys. And you got some homework. So get some done, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.